Have you just created your team longitudinal loading page showing your actual load and your planned load on the same figure? But now you want to see what that might have an effect on your acute chronic workload ratio? Well, in this video I'm going to show you how to look at that at a player level, so stay tuned. If you're finding my videos for the first time, make sure you hit like and subscribe below. Alright guys, as I said, I'm going to add in some acute chronic workload ratios to our actual and planned figures here. We're going to do this using player level only and not at a team level. Before I get going, I'm going to show you one other change to my report here, and that's here on my player report where I have added in a headshots for our athletes. So when you change between athletes, your headshots will change. This is a cool little way if you're wanting to see this for your reporting or your dashboarding. And if you want to find out how to do that, you will find a card in the top right hand corner on the video that I did a few days ago. Alright, so let's get going. So what we're going to do is we need to create a few new measures so that we can make this possible. So let's go into Tabular Editor. And what we're going to do first is we're going to create an selected athlete measure. And this is going to be helpful when we're wanting to find out whether an athlete has been selected or not, and that will help define what kind of data we present on our figures. So, oh, I need to, have I got that? Selected value. There we go. And then the next step is now what we're going to do, wrong one again, plan loading. We're going to copy all of these measures here. Well, let's just actually go these three. And then we're going to just change them really slightly so that they are related to our player level. And so I'm just going to change the name on the end. And all that is here we're going to change this to a sum x rather than an average. This just allows the measure, this needs to be player, the measure that we're going to create for our acute chronic workloads to sum all of our values together. Because if we use this current one, it's going to have half averaged, half summed, and it's not going to look great. It's not going to give you accurate values either. So let's do this. There we go. And then our next step is we're going to create, we'll just call this TD planned, actual planned. And all this is going to be is a measure that decides whether we have a player selected or not. So all we need to do here is var athlete equals, and we can just put in our measure that we created. So as it's a measure, all we need to do is use the square brackets and write the measure out, and then we're going to go var value equals, and then this one is just as simple as blank underscore athlete. So if we have no athlete selected, we're going to use the TD team actual planned measure, and if we do have a player selected, we'll use the player level one. And then we're just going to return that. So let's format and then save. And then what we'll do, just to make this simple, we'll just duplicate this a couple times. I'll do this once more and band 7. And then all we need to do is just change our TD to band 7 and band 5 and our respective measures. Okay. Now we have those saved, we can add these into our figures here. So let's go TD, and we can see that they're exactly the same at the moment, which is exactly what we were wanting, as we don't have any athletes selected on this page. So what we need to do is we need to add in a slicer. So let's just do that real quick. Athlete on here, and let's just change it to a drop down, and we will remove our background, increase the size of the text a little bit, let's just go 14, and make sure our font is black, and let's just call this athlete selector 2, and we'll get rid of the header. Right, it should be player selector, so we're common, and then put that in the middle. There we go. So now when we select an athlete, you can see the values change on our graph, and then as soon as you deselect and it says all, goes back to a team level. Alright, so what's our next step is we can add in our acute chronic workloads. So let's start that off here, and we'll go with, we'll just start with TD, PA, and we'll go acute. And what we'll do is we'll just grab our 7-day value from down here, and we will add that to here. And we're going to have to make a couple changes here, but first what we're going to do is just, I like to do this just to make sure. We're going to put our selected athlete value here again. And then our main change here is we are going to be working with a measure, so we need to make sure we can sum our measure up in some way. So what we're going to do is you're going to use sum x, and then you're just going to put planned load here, and then we can get rid of this one. And as we're only using our player value, we can just add that into here, just like that. And then the next step is also changing our dates to planned load, otherwise we won't see everything we want to see. Alright, so now just we'll change this one to 7-day. Value equals, so we'll go here, if is blank again, underscore athlete, then give me, we're going to go blank for this one, so it'll be a space on our graph, or it won't show up. And then if it isn't blank, we'll give 7-day, and then we can return underscore value. Alright, so there's our 7-day. So let's do the same thing here. We'll put this into an acute chronic folder, and we will create our chronic value here. So we've got that, we'll change this to 28 and then divide by 4. Alright, so we have them, and so let's create another measure, and we'll go just really simple TD, PA, ACWR. And all that's going to be is our total distance divided by our player load. There we go. So let's save that. Now we have that appear on our graph. We have our line values already here, so we can hide some of the stuff. We'll just go straight for our acute chronic workload, add that into there. And you can see there, as we haven't got a player selected, we don't see any values. We select a player and we've got a value pair. And you can see our acute chronic changes slightly for certain players as we go through. That's exactly what you want to see. So you can do a little bit of formatting to this figure if you want, and bring this to the top and center. I don't usually have a title, so let's just turn that off, make it black. And you can adjust any naming you want as well here, so we can just call this total distance, put meters in brackets, and then just call this ACWR because we know it's total distance anyway. If you want to, you can turn responsive off so things will become a bit bigger, and we can leave that at 10 for now, and there you would have it. So there you guys have when you can select a player and you can see their different acute chronics and how planned loading will look into the future. So you can kind of forecast out what load might do to someone's acute and chronic workload ratio. This is a nice, effective way to look at where an athlete is now and what they might look at in the future. It's really simple and basic, but it helps you guys give a really good idea of how you might need to adjust training at any point during your season or preseason, for example. I hope you guys found this video useful and you'll apply it in your load monitoring tool. If you have any questions about implementing this in your workbooks, just let me know and I'm happy to help out, like down in the comments below, or reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn. As always, if you like the video, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time where we will continue to power performance through data. Thank you.